Hello everyone, I'm Natalia Bilbao, and here's what's happening in LA this week. Los Angeles' top officials are taking bold steps to help the working poor. Mayor Garcetti was joined by Council President Nury Martinez and Council members Marquise Harris Dawson and Kern Price for the launch of the Big Leap program. Big Leap is designed to help 3,200 families move out of poverty and closer towards economic stability. Take a look.
We're here today to take a big leap and to kick off a program called Big Leap. It's a name that perfectly captures what we're doing here in LA, because we're taking a big leap forward in our generational fight to end poverty. A big leap to stability and opportunity for more than 3,200 families who today we are announcing across Los Angeles will receive $1,000 monthly checks through this program.
We know that poverty is a big deal, and we're trying to find some alternatives that help address this problem. Big Leap is one. It's not the answer, but it's a step.
Right now, poverty affects 2 out of every 10 residents in our city, and the majority of these individuals are people of color. This is unacceptable. 1/3 of the working adults in Los Angeles aren't able to support their families with full-time work alone.
This doesn't replace work. People still have to work. It's not big enough to do that, but it supplements that so that people who are working hard don't have to live in poverty, don't have to have 2 or 3 jobs. And to me, that's the revolution. That's what's coming, and hopefully it'll inspire our federal government to lock in what they began during the pandemic, which is the child tax credit and a basic income that'll help Americans get out of poverty.
When people don't have a financial foot on their neck, that people make better decisions on their own.
Poverty is something that impacts us all, and even if you are not able to provide resources, there is help available. We want to make sure that people feel there's a safety net of service available.
The portal will open this Friday on October the 29th. You can access the application online at www.bigleap.lacity.org, and it'll close on Sunday, November 7th at 11:59 p.m. We are anticipating a high interest from every corner of the city because we know poverty exists in every corner of the city. And we want Angelinos across the city to take advantage of this program.
If you want to learn more about the Big Leap program, or if you'd like to apply, visit bigleap.lacity.org. Councilmember Paul Koretz recently spoke with Channel 35 to talk about the problem of underreported heat-related deaths, its connection to climate change, and the need to raise awareness.
We know that occasionally people die from heat-related causes, but they're apparently massively underreported. And so we're very concerned as climate change is getting worse and worse. If we don't deal with it, we're going to wind up with senior citizens dying in their homes. We're going to wind up with construction workers dying at the work site when we hit a high heat day and we don't take that into account. Well, and it's particularly important that we've asked our emergency management department to track heat-related deaths throughout the city, so we can see the severity of the problem, we can see if there are physical locations, parts of the city that are harder hit than others, and we can respond to this. We want the city attorney to look at the legal aspects, whether we can hold employers responsible that are blatantly not taking the workers' safety into account on very high heat days. Now that we know that more people have died than we thought working in high heat, we need to make sure that they know they can't just ignore the safety of their workers. We've recently passed a motion that I authored to create a goal of 2030 for us to be carbon neutral. And so we are taking every step that you possibly could take, and hopefully we're providing leadership that will get the rest of the country to fall in line and take similar steps.
Councilmember Koretz is perhaps the City Council's most vocal advocate for climate change awareness. We will have another story around him leading the charge later in this week's City Beat. More than ever, residents are in need of a place to congregate and connect outdoors. And many members of the City Council are actively working to reclaim and renovate public spaces that have fallen to neglect or misuse. That's why Councilmember Curran Price recently hosted the dedication of Enel Woods Park with an open house and Halloween-themed tricks and treats for the whole family.
We are here at 87th and McKinley, dedicating a new park. Green space is at a premium in our district. This space has been just neglected for years, and so we're excited to be in collaboration with Hilda Bay, creating a real unique pocket park that's going to provide recreation and open space, green space for our community. And we're naming it for a real pioneer, a woman who cared about our community so very much, Miss Enel Woods. She in fact lived right across the street from the park, had been an advocate for it for years and years and years. So we think this is an important legacy.
Enel Woods was my mother, and I'm so proud of her and the work that she has done. Actually, I stand on her shoulders because I do the work I do because she set such a great example for me. I've watched her go out and rally and advocate for different issues, rally for the community, rally against drugs, and working for seniors. Seniors was a big thing for her, and that's a group that oftentimes gets neglected. But she made sure seniors had a representation, they had meal programs, they did things in the community that would benefit the citizens and seniors and make them have a higher quality of life. For her, that was really important.
We're excited to be here today. We've got some food, we've got some games, we've given away some prizes, and we're giving folks a chance to have some input into what the park will be providing and some ideas about what they like to see. But that's the kind of community involvement that's so important, and that's the kind of community involvement that we have here in the New Night.
By and large, green spaces are at a premium in Los Angeles. In his commitment to continue to provide safe, clean, and secure parks, Councilmember Gil Cedillo has closed half of Macarthur Park for much-needed repairs. Channel 35 talks with the council member about what's going on and what's to come for this enduring LA landmark.
Macarthur Park, like much of the city, has needed maintenance. We have to get new lighting, work on the infrastructure. The grass is non-existent. We want to make it safe and secure for all the residents of the Westlake Macarthur Park area. Public spaces where in a democratic society we're all equal. And particularly in our district, not only do we deserve, but we need that type of public space. Our part of the city has the greatest density. We have density like Manhattan. A 2-bedroom apartment could have 14 people living in it, 3 generations. And so this becomes the front yard and the backyard and the porch for the people of the community. And that's why we just recently opened up a new playground. We've got the soccer field. We have plans for a new basketball court because there's an incredible need for that community to have a place for them to do that for recreation and for exercise and for civic engagement. We have closed half the park, and we continue to have a very active half of the park. The north side of Wilshire is open and very active and very engaged. But on the south side, it had been occupied by about 200 tents and homeless people. And so during the course of that, we've housed and sheltered 326 people in that area. That I want to commend those who had been homeless for making the courageous choice to come inside, to change their lives, and to really make a commitment to a better future for themselves and their families and their community. We have a multi-year, multi-phase strategy for Macarthur Park. We really want to restore the really great shine that park provided for the city, and we're committed to that.
Council District 5 wins a Cool Blocks grant. The LA City Council approves new harbor tariffs, and Mayor Garcetti tours the Mobile World Congress with students. These stories up next on CityBeats.
The Empowerment Institute has awarded the Los Angeles Cool City Challenge team with a $1 million grant. Los Angeles is joined in the winner's circle by Irvine and Petaluma, beating out 40 other California cities that competed in a rigorous months-long application process. Grants were awarded to select cities that mobilized, neighborhood by neighborhood, to support a moonshot goal of carbon neutrality without offsets by 2030. Councilmember Paul Koretz of District 5 championed the Cool Block Leaders program in the LA City Council.
This is one step that everybody can participate in, because I'm often asked, what can I do to help? And this is a logical, easy answer.
To learn more about volunteering to be a leader for the Cool Block LA program, sign up for an information session at ncsa.la/cool_blocks_LA. The LA City Council has approved new temporary fines for containers that remain at the marine terminal at the Port of LA for more than 9 days. This new harbor tariff is an attempt to speed the processing of incoming cargo and eliminate a backlog of arriving ships that are trying to deliver merchandise. Before the pandemic, local delivery containers would sit at the marine terminal for less than 4 days, and containers to be moved by train would remain in port property for less than 2 days. This new harbor tariff will impose a $100 fine for any container on the docks after 9 days. The Port of Long Beach is said to be considering a similar tariff.
We don't do everything we can to clear this backlog. This year won't be the Grinch who stole Christmas. It will be gridlock, the gridlock that stole Christmas.
The LA City Tourism Department recently launched the LACC Career Academy at GSMA Mobile World Congress. The LACC Career Academy is a new initiative to increase equity in career representation by inspiring youth of historically underserved areas to consider diverse and dynamic career paths. High school students from the Ambassador School of Global Leadership joined Mayor Garcetti for a tour of the exhibition hall at the LA Convention Center.
Children of immigrants, the descendants of slaves, folks who are Native American, people who come from low-income neighborhoods, they're just as brilliant as everyone else. They need a shot and they need a perspective. Walking this floor with them, you can just see their dreams expanding.
The GSMA, or Global System for Mobile Communications, represents the interests of mobile network operators worldwide, including Core and Amdocs.
As part of the City of Los Angeles' ongoing construction of the 6th Street Viaduct replacement project, the Bureau of Engineering closed a portion of the 101 freeway. LA City engineer Gary Lee Moore invited Channel 35 down to talk about the necessity and significance of this crucial step in the construction project.
So today is another major milestone in the construction of the 6th Street Viaduct. We've shut down the 101 freeway and we're removing what we call the faults work, the shoring that helped us build this new bridge. Just give you a little perspective of what this means. One of these steel beams can weigh up to 30,000 pounds. So there's no way to do it except to shut down the freeway.
My favorite part of the project are actually the people doing the work. There's a project labor agreement attached to this, and we have 5% of the workers who are women.
My supervisor happens to be a woman leading the Bureau of Engineering's team. Many of my subordinates are females as well. It's a very supportive, hard-working team, and grateful to be a part of it.
Así que desde ahora ya vamos a tener un puente más permanente y ya vamos a poder quitar todo eso lo que era temporal.
Now the concrete's in, the bridge deck is there, the cable hangers are in the arches, and the bridge is self-supporting. So you can remove all that steel and wood that you had to use to form the bridge, and that all goes away, and you're left with this very elegant, beautiful looking new viaduct.
And 6th Street is not the only LA area currently undergoing major construction. Los Angeles Metro Board Chair Hilda Solis and Metro CEO Stephanie Wiggins have just announced the long-awaited transformation of Little Tokyo with the start of construction on the East Side Access Improvement Project. Check this out.
I'm so excited to be here marking this milestone with this project. First, for Little Tokyo community, it means Metro is following through on its promise to the community for our regional connector project that, while the community has had to deal with some disruption, we're going to make sure that we restore Little Tokyo to even better than it was before.
The communities of Little Tokyo and the Arts District, as you know, are intertwined and have borne the brunt also, unfortunately, of construction impacts for some time. Right now, as you know, there are two major projects in construction in these two communities, the Regional Connector and the East Side Access Improvement projects. And we'll also have one more coming soon, and that's the Alameda Esplanade. Together, these three projects will make it easier to walk to our restaurants, to bike to your favorite grocery store, or to commute for work, or just meet with friends.
Cuando terminemos el proyecto del conector regional, esta va a ser una zona muy atractiva, muy segura y muy buena para caminar, para venir a pasear en bicicleta, para que la gente disfrute y visite los comercios de esta área. Es un conjunto de cosas que se vienen todas juntas para que los comerciantes, los residentes y los visitantes disfruten y que pues caminen y lleven un estilo de vida más saludable que beneficie a todo el mundo.
Walkers and riders in the community will be able to come over to this sign, touch the location that they want to go, drag the map around and see where they are. Really just provide them a little bit more information about where they are and how to get to where they want to go.
What I really love about this project is it really provides options for a healthier lifestyle for those living in and visiting the areas by allowing them safe ways to travel, whether it's through access to our bike lanes and safer walking pathways in and around our major transportation hubs.
Each year, Filipino American history is recognized nationally during the month of October. As the third largest ethnic group in California, Filipino Americans have played a critical part in the history and culture of Los Angeles. Executive Director of the Bureau of Street Lighting, Miguel Sangalang, and Public Works Commissioner Jessica Caloza share their thoughts on the importance of Filipino American History Month.
Filipino American History Month means to me that we belong, that I belong. For California, there's been a shared history of Filipinos ever since the early 1500s, 1587, when Filipinos landed in Morro Bay 33 years before the Pilgrims. We have the largest community outside of the Philippines that is here breaking bread with us every day. So it's a real shared sense of belonging. Personally for me, as an immigrant, I came here when I was 5, lived in Los Angeles County ever since, and called this city my home, and am very proud to have contributed to it as well.
For me, this month is particularly special because we want to pay tribute to all of our amazing public servants here in the city of Los Angeles. And I just feel proud to be Filipina American, to serve as the first Filipino woman on the Board of Public Works, appointed by Mayor Garcetti and confirmed by City Council. And that's who I represent when I'm voting on items. And when I'm leading different initiatives, as I represent not just my community, Filipinos, but I represent Asian Americans, immigrants, people who don't speak English as their first language. And I think all of that really comes into play in October. And that's why I'm proud to celebrate it this month.
We've actually lit up a few different city assets, so namely LAX, which is the gateway between the east and west that was lit up in the colors of the Filipino flag. We had 2nd Street Tunnel that was also done in the same way, and now City Hall.
Filipinos have so much to contribute, not just in Los Angeles County and Los Angeles City, but in the entire country.
Later in the program, we will meet the first Filipino American to hold the office of California Attorney General. And the innovation plans to build back better in LA keep on coming. Councilwoman Monica Rodriguez and Los Angeles City Engineer Gary Lee Moore recently cut the ribbon on a new signage and grid system on the hiking trails at Hansen Dam. Take a look.
Today we've unveiled the completion of a grid and sign system that has been implemented here at Hansen Dam. Previously, when people had either injuries or had been on the trails, they weren't able to quickly identify what their location was because there was an absence of a grid system. This system is going to enable people that as they're on the trails, as they're meeting perhaps other family members where they might be catching up, they can disclose to them what their actual location is.
This new signage is really important for two reasons. One, emergency response. If I'm out there, I get a little confused where I'm at, or it's getting dark, or I see something, I can easily call in to the ranger station and say, look, I'm at E2 right now. Can you come and help me get back to my car or get back with the family here? But a second one, as I think is kind of fun, is that these are long trails, 4-mile, 5-mile long trails. So I might want to do a 5-mile trail, you might want to do a 2-mile trail, but we could say, let's meet at 3 p.m. at marker E2. So it gives everybody an opportunity not just to meet at the beginning here at the ranger station, but to meet out in the trail.
This time of year it gets darker sooner. A typical family out here for a hike may find themselves hiking in the dark. Before these signs went up, there was nothing to label what trail they were on, where their location is. These signs are all GPS located.
As I'm continuing to bring resources, investing into developing this space, I want to make sure that we have the fundamentals taken care of, including making sure that we have this mapping and trail system that is a better way for people to feel safe and navigate this vast space in a manner that they feel comfortable.
Applying for college can be stressful, but don't worry. The Chinatown branch of the Los Angeles Public Library has a way of making it easier. They recently hosted a Q&A session with a local high school college counselor to ease all the students' fears and eliminate the crazy labyrinth of applying for higher education.
Elena Nguyen, our wonderful teen services librarian at the Chinatown Branch Library, is hosting a college Q&A session with Linda McGee, who is the college counselor at one of the local high schools, downtown Magnets High School. And so really just giving another opportunity for teens, whether or not they go to that particular high school, to ask whatever they want to the college counselor.
I'm here hoping to meet some kids, not just from my high school, but also from the community, and talk to them about the whole college process and kind of ease their fears. I think there's a lot of fear out there about, can I get in? And they don't understand all the wonderful possibilities there really are.
Well, I learned a lot about financial aid, which is something that's really important to me. I also learned a lot about how I should be doing in high school to further make my application process easier and better for myself. Learning more about college from this event made me feel a little more confident about getting into that college.
When I was a student myself, my parents didn't go to college in the U.S., and so it was programs like this at my local library that really helped me get through the college application process. Not everyone's parents can afford to pay for these kind of services. My family certainly couldn't, and so it's really important for the library to be able to offer free programs for students to get more information on how to apply for college successfully.
He has worked as a deputy city attorney for the city and county of San Francisco, where he represented the city and county and its employees. And he has said that his passion for justice and fairness was instilled in him by his parents, who served on the front lines of some of America's most important social justice movements. In our feature story this week, Maria Hall-Brown sits down with California's current Attorney General, Rob Bonta.
As of April 23rd, I'm delighted to say that the state of California has a new Attorney General, and we have him here today to get to know him a little bit. I'm delighted to be joined by Rob Bonta. So nice to have you here.
Honored to be here, Maria.
What are the things that an Attorney General for the state of California can do for the state?
So I lead the California Department of Justice. We have both civil and criminal authority. One thing we do is we are the attorney for the state of California, its departments, its agencies. We represent clients who are state clients. We also have independent authority where we can bring cases, civil cases against those who break the law and violate the law. And then we also have a criminal duty as largely in the appellate criminal role where we are defending the prosecutions from the trial court. So criminal, civil, trial level, appellate level.
You really have worked towards reform when you were in the state assembly. So now, as Attorney General, where do you see your priorities?
Right now, we're focusing a lot on taking on the forces of hate, as so many Californians suffer the sting of hate crimes, hate attacks, hate incidents, making sure that folks know that we're here in the California Attorney General's office to protect you, to support you. We're taking on big corporations when they scam or defraud or hurt Californians. We're making sure that our criminal justice system is fair and equitable and more compassionate. A lot of what I do, I see my role as being the people's attorney, fighting for everyday people, especially the most vulnerable and the voiceless, those who've been abused or hurt or harmed, and I balance the scales of justice for them, make sure that they know they have a champion. I make their fights my fights and try to right wrongs.
You're the first Filipino and the second Asian American Attorney General for the state of California, so that's a noble mantle to wear. Do you think about it?
As a proud Filipino American, as someone who was born in the Philippines, brought here when I was 2 months old, and the first Filipino American state legislator in the history of California, the first Filipino American Attorney General in the history of California, that's special. That's an honor.
Join the hike as Griffith Park celebrates 125 years. Participate in the latest Lawn Begun workshop or check out one man's journey to find a career in baking. All this up next on Things to Do.
Mark your calendar for Saturday, November 13th, when Griffith Park turns 125. Join the LA Conservancy and more than 24 LA organizations for a free park-wide exploration of Griffith Park. Learn about the significant structures, sites, and stories about Griffith Park's extraordinary history. Don't miss Griffith Park celebrating 125 years, happening Saturday, November 13th. You can find event updates and a free downloadable map at laconservancy.org/Griffith Park 125. Are you ready to get your hands dirty? Join the LA Department of Water and Power for one of their latest hands-on events. In the latest Lawn Begun workshop, learn about transforming your lawn into a gorgeous, sustainable landscape. These classes will teach you about removing turf without chemicals, sheet mulching for healthy soil, capturing rainwater, installing drip irrigation, and more. See firsthand how a front lawn is transformed and learn how to implement the same techniques at your own home. LADWP's Lawn Begun Workshop, happening November 13th and 20th. You can register for the event by visiting their listing at eventbrite.com. The Los Angeles Public Library invites you to meet culinary author and pastry chef Robert Wemmischner as he muses on his odd career, trends in baking, and much more. In his new online lecture, Baking 101, My Roundabout Route to a Career, Wemmischner shares about how his lifelong love for tea, bread, and dessert put him on a path to a 50-plus year adventure, a career that would include teaching for 30 years at Los Angeles Trade Tech College and authoring 4 books. Wemmischner recounts his somewhat unorthodox journey in food and writing from 1970 through today. Be sure to check out Baking 101, My Roundabout Route to a Career. This online library event drops Saturday, November 13th, beginning at 10:30 a.m. To register to attend, visit their listing on Eventbrite. And that's a look at some things to do.
And that's it for this edition. I'm Natalia Bilbao, and from all of us here at LA This Week, thank you so much for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacityview.org, and we're also on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. See you next time for more LA This Week.